Hey guys, Jackie. Welcome back to my channel. I recently got a few new goodies from Elf, so let's get into the video. I'm so sure all of you have seen the It Cosmetics CC Cream dupe that Elf did, but they recently came out with the dewy version. I ended up with two shades because I'm kind of in between the two. I have the shades 370N and this one is 330W. I had originally ordered the 370 first, but it was way too dark, so I had decided to get a lighter shade. Hopefully the concoction will fit me better. This next thing I'm like the most excited about. It is the Camo Liquid Blush. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Rare Beauty, which I also have, so I'll be doing a side-by-side comparison. I'm so excited for this dupe because Rare Beauty wears a little bit drier on my skin, so hopefully this is going to give me a bit more dew. Starting with the base, it's winter time. I'm super dry, so I'm going in with my Glow Recipe toner. This is my favorite. It honestly smells so good. This is a pore minimizing toner, so it's really going to even out the textures. I like to put the extra on the neck, and while that sinks in a little bit, I'm just going to fill in my brows with this Elf brow pencil. I have it in the shade Neutral Brown. This is honestly my holy grail. I always buy a 3-pack because I run out so quickly. I usually just fill in the front of my brows and a little bit at the tail. I also like to furrow my brows because it makes the shape a lot more apparent for me to fill in. Now, using the brush on the other end, I'm just going to like brush out the front because I want it to be a bit more natural. Next, I'm going in with the Glow Recipe Dewdrops. I am obsessed with this stuff. I kind of like using this as a primer as well. I feel like it gets a bit tacky, and the glow is just unreal. Now onto the face. I'm actually really excited that they came out with these dewy ones because I have the original, and as much as I like the coverage, it's just too drying. It clung on to every dry patch and it was just not flattering. I really was only wearing this in the summertime when I'm a bit more oily, so I'm really excited that they did a hydrating version. Now, I did get two shades. I tried to shade match myself as accurately as I could based on the photos on their website, and I felt like with the tan, 370 would have been okay, but when I got it in the mail and I swatched it, it was just way too dark, so I opted to get a 330W, which is kind of like my winter shade if I wasn't self-tanning. So I feel like these two together would just be perfect. Now, these new ones, like the old ones, also have SPF 30 in it, so you could just wear it out as sunscreen. So here is 370N. It is a bit too dark and I feel like it's a little bit muddy. Now, the one on top is 330W. I feel like this is a bit more of my shade, but obviously a little bit too yellow tone on its own. So I'm gonna mix it on the back of my hand. So this is where we're at, and I feel like it's a pretty good shade. I'm just gonna like swatch it on my face for you guys. Yeah, I feel like this is a really good shade match. Obviously, it's always going to be a bit too late for my forehead. Kind of want to avoid the under eye area because we're going to be doing concealer. I feel like consistency wise, this is a bit more lighter. Obviously, it's a bit more watery. I look stupid right now, but I'm going to blend it in with my Elf powder blurring brush. I love using this for like the face. I usually do spray my face first, but I feel like because this is such a hydrating product, I feel like I could get away with not spraying my face. We're gonna see. Okay, I feel like it blended in really nicely. I don't know if it's the brush. This shade match is on point. I love how it looks like skin, like my skin, but better. It's a teensy weensy light, but oh my gosh, my skin looks so good, and a little bit goes such a long way. I probably shouldn't have done one full pump of each shade. Maybe I'll mix in a little bit more of the darker shade next time, but we're going to test how it wears underneath other makeup. So I'm going in with my concealer next. This is the Tower 28 Serum Concealer, my new holy grail. I love this stuff. I have it in the shade MDR, and this stuff is just so creamy as well. I feel like it doesn't really crease my under eyes as much as most concealers do. Also, I don't know why I always apply my concealer like this. Like, it's always so uneven on both sides. Moving on, I'm going to spray my sponge with my favorite setting spray. This is the e.l.f. Micro Fine Setting Spray. It's so good, so fine. Then we're going to blend in the concealer as normal. I generally like to avoid like that fold. I like to apply the concealer right underneath it and not really on top of it. So I try to get in there as close as possible. I find that the line is usually where my concealer creases, so I really try not to apply too much in there. After the sponge, I also like to go in with my ring finger to really pat in the inner corners. Next, we're going in with bronzer, and I'm going to be using my favorite palette. This is the e.l.f. contour palette. It's a contour palette, but I love using it as bronzer. I'm taking a really dense angled brush, and I'm going to dip it into the second darker shade here. I try to pick up the product mainly on the top half of the brush. That way it helps sculpt the cheekbones a lot easier. I like to smile when I apply the bronzer as well. I only apply it in the hollow of my cheek. That way when I look forward, you can already see the shadow of my cheekbones, and it kind of like lifts my face up. I love using this creamy palette because it's so creamy and it blends in really seamlessly into any base. Last but not least, we're going in with blush, and like I said, I have the Rare Beauty one to compare. I have this in the shade Dusty Rose. Right off the bat, I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but there are these like gold flecks of shimmer inside the e.l.f. blush, which is not in the Rare Beauty one. So if you like something with a bit more shimmer, then maybe try out the e.l.f. one. So it has a giant doe foot similar to the Rare Beauty one. Mine is mini, so therefore the doe foot is mini as well. But as far as I know, the doe foot sizes are the same. I know the Rare Beauty one is super pigmented, so I'm going to go light-handed with the e.l.f. one as well, just in case they decided to do the pigment as well. Okay guys, here goes nothing. So here's how it's looking. It's pretty dewy on. I'm going to go in with another dense brush, and I'm just going to like pat it in. Oh my gosh, you guys, like this glow is insane. I also really like how the shade looks on me. Upon first application, I was so worried that it's going to be like a bright ass Barbie pink, and that's not flattering on me. It's giving me a really nice natural flush to the cheeks. As well as pigment goes, I'm sure the Rare Beauty one is much more pigmented. Again, I do have the mini size, so it's kind of hard to compare because the doe foot sizes are different, so the amount of products that I pick up is way different. Nonetheless, I do really like how this side is looking. Now I'm going to blend off the excess blush onto a napkin because I want to keep the same brush to really see how both sides wear. Now going in with the mini Rare Beauty blush. I got this as a trio like a few years ago, and honestly, little does go a long way with this one. Like, I've had this for a little over 2 years, I'd say, and it's honestly still like at 50%. Okay, in the camera, I feel like both shades are looking really similar. Closer up, I feel like the Rare Beauty is a bit more cool tone compared to the e.l.f. side. Also, I do want to note that the Rare Beauty one is a little bit more on the runny side. Like, it's a little bit more liquid, like water, compared to the e.l.f. one. The e.l.f. is a little bit more creamy, like it's a little bit thicker. I'm going to swatch it on my hand for you guys to see as well. That's the e.l.f. one in the shade Dusty Rose. The top one is the Rare Beauty one in the shade Hope. I feel like side by side, the e.l.f. one is definitely a bit more peachy. It's a bit more orange compared to the Rare Beauty one. I have 2 more of the Rare Beauty blushes, and I feel like I kind of fucked it up with the shade matching. Looking again, I feel like the e.l.f. is closer to the shade called Peace. Okay, am I bugging, or does the shade not look anything like it as well? The last one is the shade Bliss, and I feel like it's a little in between Hope and Peace. So that's Bliss on the side, and holy shit, you guys, like, I'm terrible at shade matching. I am colorblind. Looking at all the shades, I feel like Hope is the closest to matching the e.l.f. one. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm really loving how everything looks. If I were to choose, I would definitely go for the e.l.f. one. It's such a good bang for your buck, and I feel like the shade on me looks so natural. It's giving me such a nice natural glow, and I just love how it looks on me. I'm gonna finish off the look with this e.l.f. glossy lip stain. I love this stuff. I have it in the shade Basic Beige. Honestly, I love this stuff for like an effortless get ready with me. It's a gloss and a lip stain, so it applies as a lip gloss, and as you wear the lip gloss, it stains your lips, so even when the gloss is gone, you do have a hint of color. And a Basic Beige is like the perfect My Lips But Better color for me. I love having this in my purse, especially for a girly who hates reapplying her lips. This is the perfect solution. So here's the completed look. It's looking so good. Which side do you think looks better? I think I found my new favorite base. I love how the hydrating camo look. I love this hydrating one so much more. Consistency wise, it's not too heavy. I don't feel like I have anything on the skin. Upon first application, it does feel a little bit heavy, like you do have something on, but as you blend it out, it thins out really nicely without compromising the coverage. I am in love with how the skin looks. It looks so healthy. So I would give this a 9 out of 10. I love how it feels. I love how it looks. I'm docking 1 point off for the shade match. It's a little bit difficult, especially if you're in between shades like I am. Now onto the blush. She looks so good. I feel like the pigment is definitely there, and it could be buildable if you wanted to. I love how seamlessly it blends into the skin. You can't really tell where the blush starts and ends. So if you're more of a everyday makeup girly like I am, then definitely check it out. It's also super affordable. Also, you don't really see the glitters on the skin, so that's a sigh of relief because I'm usually not a shimmer blush girly, so I was a little bit worried about that. I'm really happy that it's more of a sheen versus specks of glitter. Overall, I'll give this a solid 10 out of 10. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below which side blush do you prefer. Do you like the e.l.f. one or the Rare Beauty one? Let me know down below. I post every Sunday, so subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.